Welcome back to In Essence with Ina Shay. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today's episode is one I wish someone whispered in my ears years ago because I needed this. We're talking about 10 standards every woman should have, and I'm going to tell you why. It is important to understand that if you do not have standards, I'm talking about friendships, I'm talking about even family, any ties that you have with people should have standards. You should have expectations, you should have desires, and they should be able to tick off some boxes in order for you to invest your energy into these relationships. The lack of standards is the reason why some people have low self-esteem. The lack of standards is the reason why some people go through situationships rather than relationships. The lack of standards is the reason why people feel okay treating you anyhow because you're going to take it anyways. So today we're going to dive deep into standards that every woman should have. The first standard you want to have as a woman is emotional safety. If your nervous system does not trust him, you have no business trusting him either. Most of the time we talk about vibe and chemistry, but the real question is, do you feel safe being yourself around him? The reason why we ask this question is because emotional safety is not just comfort, it's psychological protection. When he texts you, we need to talk, and your stomach drops, that's not emotional safety. But when you can say, I need space, and he actually gives you space without being defensive, that's emotional safety. When you get emotional and he does not shut down, but validates your feeling and stay present, that's emotional safety. I have a friend who was going through some rough times, and one day she was crying and I was trying to comfort her. And this is what she told me. I am not crying because of what he did to me. I'm not even crying because he hurt me. I'm crying because I can no longer relax around him. She had been pushed to the wall to a certain level that she couldn't laugh anymore. She couldn't share her feelings comfortably anymore. She had to tiptoe emotionally in the relationship. But here's the truth. You cannot build a soft life with a man who activates your survival mode. It cannot work, because if your emotions feel unsafe with him, your life will as well. The second standard every woman needs in a relationship is respect and boundaries. Now, respect is not how he acts when everything is good, but how he behaves when you say no. Respect is not when he opens doors for you or picks your call the minute or the second you call, but you can say he respects you when he respects your standards, when he respects your time, when he respects your body, when he respects your emotions, when he respects your boundaries. But the way you will know if your man respects you is that the wrong man will call it attitude and the right man will call it communication. The third standard every woman needs to have is communication. Don't date a man who does not have conversational competence, a man who does not know how to communicate respectfully. If he can't communicate through conflicts, then he cannot lead the relationship. And the biggest myth women believe nowadays is that communication is limited to talking, and that's wrong. A person who knows how to properly communicate knows how to provide clarity, knows how to take accountability, knows self-control, knows how to be honest, is willing to fix the issue at hand. And it's a person who has emotional transparency. A healthy communication sounds like, I hear you. Let me clarify. I didn't realize that I hurt you. Thank you for telling me. I need a moment to cool down, but I'm not leaving. How can we resolve this together? But of course, unhealthy conversations sound like, you're dramatic, you are overthinking, you always do this, you always do that, you always say that. You're too emotional. Whatever. You cannot build an adult relationship with someone who communicates like a teenager. And if he's not ready to communicate efficiently without attacking, then he's not ready to be in a relationship. The fourth standard every woman should have in a relationship is consistency. Interest is shown in intensity, but intention is shown in consistency. The brain bonds to practices and not promises. Consistency over time is the real currency for intention. So here's the standards. You have to be consistent. If you present yourself to me as a giver, you have to be a giver throughout the relationship. If you show me a certain behavior at the beginning of the relationship, I want to know that down the line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years later, I still have the vivid image of the person I first met. And there is no difference between the person I met and the person I'm with. The fifth standard every woman should have in a relationship is effort. Stop giving 100% to people who give you 10% and call it loyalty. I agree, effort is not the same for everyone, but it must exist and it must be balanced. To heal, to hold space, to carry emotional labor. But healthy love is mutual. It's not maternal. You're not getting into the relationship to be his mother. You're getting into the relationship to be his partner. And of course, you can assist in all aspects of his life, emotionally, materially, physically, whatever aspect of his life where he needs you. But you need to know that there needs to be a balance. You shouldn't be doing his laundry, be his emotional therapist, doing his planning, his scheduling, his life management while he gives you the bare minimum. So if you always feel tired in a relationship, most likely you're carrying the roles for two people. And for that relationship to be successful and for both parties to be happy at the end, effort has to match effort. The sixth standard every woman should have when it comes to relationships is financial responsibility. You don't need wealth, you need wisdom. Even in history, every stable society from Egypt to Mali had a stable financial status. But guess what? Each time the finances collapsed, the civilization collapsed. It's the same thing with your relationship. Your relationship is a micro civilization. It's not for nothing that money fights are the number one predictor of divorce. A man who budgets, saves, avoids unnecessary debt, and plans for the future is a man who is safe to date. But a man who ignores bills, lives impulsively, spends without thinking, financially manipulates, and blames others for his financial decision and money issues is a risk. So when you want to choose somebody to date, choose somebody who has financial mindset and not financial image. The seventh standard every woman should have when it comes to a relationship is emotional intelligence. Your IQ will get you hired, but your EQ will get you loved. And what does your EQ entail? Self-awareness, empathy, conflict resolution, communication, understanding emotions. People with high EQ create stable relationships because they self-regulate and they emotionally connect. So if he is not emotionally intelligent, if he cannot handle his emotions, he cannot identify his emotions, he cannot regulate his emotions, then he is definitely going to mishandle yours. So you want to stay away from that. The eighth standard every woman should have when it comes to dating is integrity. Does he do what he says? Does he keep to his commitments? We need to understand that integrity creates trust, but inconsistency creates anxiety. If he lies about small things, he'll definitely lie about big things. If he manipulates language, he'll manipulate emotions. So watch how he treats the waiters, his mother, his friends, money, time, strangers, because that is his character. The ninth standard every woman should have when it comes to a relationship is value alignment. Love is a feeling, but values are the steering wheel. Chemistry only determines affection, but values determine direction. And when I talk about values, I'm talking about faith, I'm talking about family, I'm talking about ambition, I'm talking about honesty, monogamy, purpose, lifestyle. Two people can love each other deeply, but fail because one wants marriage, but the other does not. One wants kid and the other does not. One wants stability, but the other wants freedom. And that's not incompatibility, it's just misaligned values. So you need to find someone whose values align with yours. The 10th standard every woman should have when it comes to a relationship is peace. The 10th standard every woman should have when it comes to a relationship is peace. If the relationship costs you your peace, it's too expensive. So if someone constantly triggers anxiety, emotional exhaustion, and fear, your body is literally telling you, run. Someone will ask me, how do you even know? Well, I'll tell you. If you sleep better alone than next to him, then you got your answer. The moment peace leaves, just follow, leave too. I want you to remember that as a woman, your standards are not just demands. They are a reflection of your self-worth, your emotional health, your future, your lineage, and even your identity. So each time you raise your standard, you raise your quality of life. Because high standards don't scare the right men, they filter out the wrong ones. So this is Innocence, and I'm Ina Shea, and I want you to remember that a woman with standards is a woman with a future. Bye.